How we feeling about this one, Birds fans? We have our offensive coordinator, 33 years old, 2 years coaching experience, never called plays before. How you feeling about it? Let's dig in. Let's talk about it. We'll get into some good. We'll get into some potentially bad, what that means for the Eagles in 2026 and beyond. But as you can see here, Sean Mannion will be calling plays. I'd put a question mark next to that, and I'll get into why in a minute. With Nick Sirianni still having influence on the offense, that for me is the problem. How much of that influence? I am afraid that it's going to be far too much when you go and once again get a guy who's never called plays before. This is yet to work out for the Philadelphia Eagles. We think of this window that we've had from from 2022, really, but it started building in 2021. And this will be the third season in that time where we have basically said, yeah, you know what? We're not really too worried about winning the Super Bowl this year. I mean, they didn't actually weren't thinking that, of course, with Brian Johnson, but we saw what happened there. We get an inexperienced guy, a name out of nowhere, doesn't do a good job, gets fired. Kevin Patullo, same thing, gets fired. And now we're doing it. We're running it back again. I'm starting to feel like this is the Philadelphia Phillies, not the Eagles lately, with Sean Mannion calling plays. But let's start off with something positive. All right. We got a short clip here from his coach in Green Bay, which is where he came from, for those of you that don't know. So he did work with Jordan Love and that offense. This is only about 20 seconds long, but we'll listen to what Matt has to say about Sean.
Unbelievable. Great job. He's been awesome. He's got a bright future in this profession. He definitely he attacks it the same way I knew he would when he was a player. Just extreme ownership of everything, puts in the extra time, just goes above and beyond the call of duty, which is exactly what you want from your assistant coaches.
Sounds great right there, right? There's something positive. He sounds like he has a bright future. Matt LaFleur says so. And here is the background that he has. Like I said, only 33. He was playing in the league in 2023, so not a whole lot of coaching experience. But here's what we get from him. Played under Sean McVay, Clint Kubiak, Kevin Stefanski, and Kevin O'Connell. All guys with pretty great reputations in terms of their offensive philosophies, their play calling, that sort of thing. He's coached for 2 years under Matt LaFleur. So in theory, as it says here, the Eagles were getting some ingredients of Shanahan, LaFleur, McVay, so on and so forth. But will they? Going back to what I said, or is this going to be another guy who's going to be given all of these constraints, be given this straitjacket, be having to put his hands in handcuffs behind his back and say, okay, now within this, and this, you can do what you want to do, right? These formations, these types of play calls, these, all of that, this motion or lack of motion from the shotgun and all of that, and then you can try and run your offense. But like I said, he's supposedly a rising star. Now I want to play a quick clip from Stephen A. Smith. Yes, actually, a reasonable clip, right? This is not I'm not looking for clicks and views. This is a reasonable take, and it's a jumping off point for something that I want to discuss, and I'm curious what y'all think of in the comments below as well. So this is about um let me see, about maybe about a minute long
Deshaun
if I
Manning.
get it right. Hold on one second. All right, here we go.
It's not because of anything pertaining to his capability. He's considered to be some rising star in the business. Fine, no problem. That makes perfect sense. I got that. But these are the Eagles we're talking about. So I want Sean Mannion to know, congratulations. Wishing you nothing but the best. Everybody believes you're a rising star, and I hope it proves true. And thus far, you're doing your thing. Congratulations to you. It's not that he doesn't deserve this opportunity. The issue is not him, it's the Eagles. They have fired the last two people they've plucked from nowhere to be first-year offensive coordinators. You're looking at Brian Johnson in
Amen.
2023, fired after his first season. Kellen Moore comes on board in 2024, helps them capture Super Bowl. He ends up getting the head coaching job in New Orleans, all right? Then you go back to that route, and Kevin Patullo is fired in his first season, okay? So Two of your last three coordinators was guys you plucked from relative obscurity that didn't really have that much experience, if any at all, as offensive coordinators. And you brought them in, and look what happened. I'm like, if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, why would you do that? Why is that the way to go? Why couldn't you go and get somebody that's more experienced schematically, that's been around the league, that's seen so many things, that had offensive play calling responsibilities? Because Nick Sirianni ain't the greatest offensive play caller in the world. Yes, he takes over those duties from time to time, but he's basically been like a CEO, being deferential to his.
I hate to say it, he's not my favorite, but I think Stephen A. Smith sort of nails it here. And this is, you look at this window that we have with Super Bowl titles, maybe the greatest window in Philadelphia Eagles history. And for now, probably the majority of the seasons, we are putting one arm behind our back and blowing it. And he's asking why. And here's my answer to why. And I'm curious what y'all think. Control, right? We can go all the way back to Chip Kelly and the power that was given him and what a disaster that was. Nick Sirianni was a control hire for Howie and Lurie, and they've allowed him to have control hires at the offensive coordinator position. That's why these haven't worked out, because it's been about control for them. Nick still gets to do what he wants to do, which is basically control the offense if he's not, actually calling every single play in a game. It is his offense that is being run. I want to circle back to Sean a little bit. But first, because I just want to add to this because it's important and it came right after. This is another guy that we were interviewing for the offensive coordinator position. The Eagles are hiring former Tampa Bay Buccaneer offensive coordinator Josh Grizzard as their passing game coordinator to work with new offensive coordinator Sean Mannion. He was, of course, in Tampa Bay. Just to give you an idea, everyone talks about the how bad the Eagles' offense, the passing game was this year. Not that the running game was good, but yards, the Eagles were 18th. Well, the Buccaneers, where Josh was, they were 20th. Yards per attempt, the Eagles were 23rd. The Buccaneers, where Josh was with Baker Mayfield, we kept hearing was so much better than Jalen Hurts, they were 26th. To me, again, Mannion and Grizzard, I hope I'm saying that right. Watch it be Grizzard. Anyway, this is about Nick Sirianni reasserting control, but not having to deal with the consequences and the criticism involved. And here, finally, one last thing. This is what really pisses me off, and this is about the context of this. And this is why I think all Eagles fans should be pissed off right here. Obvious key to Mannion will be how much time Eagles give him, and then the stupid statement here, unfair to expect him to come in and impact offense next year. First year on the job, new players, new city, new team. Next year will be about development for him. Sirianni Hurts will have to truly run the show. Now, obviously, this is rage bait, clickbait from Elliott because that's pretty much all he does, right? That's all he does. I mean, he knows that it's going to set off Eagle fans to say unfair to expect him to come in and impact offense next year. He's the offensive coordinator. Absolutely, he's going to impact the offense. It shouldn't take another year to put his system in place. He's working on that right now. So forget, I'm not going to let him do the rage bait thing. But the reason I wanted to bring this up, besides showing that he's being a typical, idiot and we need to get rid of WIP, is the fact that this is in effect what it feels like, not necessarily saying unfair to ask him to impact the offense, but again, it's kind of what I'm saying in the title. The Eagles seem to be like they're closing the window on this Super Bowl, right? Closing a very, you have a small window to win Super Bowls. And the Eagles said, yeah, you know what? We don't really care. This is the hire, and I'll put it in context for you so it doesn't sound like, oh, another Eagles fan's just complaining. If you made this hire after 2021, right? We had, after the Super Bowl, had some bad seasons. Jalen Hurts, first year as a starter, 2021, goes 8-7, right? It's like, hey, we're on the upswing. We have good vibes in the city again. The Eagles be a good contending team, and you hire Mannion for that team. I think no one has a problem there. I think maybe you get kind of excited because we hear the things from Matt LaFleur and so forth. They say, hey, you know what? This could be one of those guys. This could be the wonder kid. This could be the NFL offensive play calling savant. This could be the guy who blossoms into being the head coach for 10, 12, 15 successful years like we had with Andy Reid, right? Context. But When you take a team that won 2 Super Bowls in 4 years, we've already seen multiple offensive coordinators with no experience have disastrous seasons and get fired, and then that's your decision is to do that again? No, we don't have a year to waste with this team. We just wasted a year with this team. You're going to waste another year with this team. We might as well just tear it all apart and go have our 4-13, 17 games now, right? 4-13 season and go from there. Eagles fans don't want another experiment when they have a chance to win a Super Bowl. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. It's going to be interesting to see because what we're all going to be picking apart is does that offense, do those plays, those formations, does that route tree, does that look like Nick Sirianni? Or does that look different? Does that look better? Does that look evolved? Does that look less conservative? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate it. As always, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Really do appreciate it. I will talk to you later.